Good day, good day, everybody. Welcome back to another video. We are here being diligent because diligent hands lead to wealth. And secondly, we're being wise and being prepared ahead of time for potential market opportunities. So this is the weekly outlook of February 15th through February 20th. Today is February 16th, and let's go ahead and get right into the video. All right. So starting off with the DXY. Last week bias was a buy. Um, that buy was short lived. I mean, it didn't even continue buying. Ended up breaking structure, therefore began the selling for the week. Um, and that's exactly what it did. So, what are we looking at for this week? Keeping it simple. We look at this trend compared to the previous trend. We can see that we've broken structure. Therefore, we are selling as of right now. Um, with that in mind, if we are selling, we look for areas of supply, and I'll identify some areas of supply that I like up in here. The market comes to these levels, I want entry confirmation. So again, ultimately target um, lower areas of supply and demand in this trend. But just being a little bit more advanced though, this trend compared to this trend compared to this trend, we can see that overall, it could be selling at a higher. Overall, it could be selling, and we could look to create a lower low to this. But you definitely can't go wrong with targeting areas in here. Um, but yeah, just a little bit of the grand scheme of things, we could be aiming to get much lower down here for price. So the dollar is selling AU and EU and G. You should be buying. But that I don't believe that's the case this week. The markets are looking a little bit funny. So I'm not just going to base everything off the DXY. All right. So looking at AU, as we can see, looking at this move here compared to the previous trend, we can see that we've broken structure. Therefore, I am saying that Australian futures is selling at the moment. With that being said, we need to see where we like the market to come to. Market's already at a great level. I believe here. So we just essentially need to wait for entry confirmation, and then we can target lower areas of supply and demand. With that being said, though, this is a correction. This is a correction to this overall trend here. So target shouldn't be really just like way down here, much lower. They should be within this trend. And to look at my analysis, but Australian futures. Moving on to Euro futures. Um, last week on bias for the sell market ended up breaking this downtrend structure and ended up buying for the week. What do I see this week though? Easy. This move compared to the previous move, we can see that we did we have broken structure. So with that being said, market, I believe the market is currently buying. Market is buying, so I've identified an area where I believe market could correct to in order to continue in this current buy. A little bit of just, I would say, a grand scheme of things on a higher level, though. This move compared to this move compared to this move shows that we are in grand scheme of things, could be buying and potentially create a higher high here. So yes, we can have targets, within this trend here, but also I potentially am looking for the market to create a higher high and potentially even get to this level up here. So that's my outlook for your futures. Now, not lining up with that is British pound futures. Last week on bias with a sell. The market did it bought for the majority of the week and then broke structure and then began to sell. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. As we can see, low, high, lower low, potentially lower high. We have to wait, don't be patient. Um, so I so I believe, yes, I do believe that the market is selling as right now based off the structure. Um, this trend for the free trend, I do believe that I do believe that this is also correcting. It is dragging sideways at a very slow pace. And this trend is within this trend here. So again, targets strongly recommend to be within this trend here. Um, but ultimately it could continue selling lower if that is the case. If this trend wants to continue selling. Looking at the lower time frames, I didn't see any levels. Um, I didn't see any levels that I would like um, specifically for the market to get to in order to keep selling. So for me personally, I would like the market to create a lower low. Upon creating a lower low, then I can be patient, prepare for identify areas of supply that I like in order for the market to continue selling lower. And last but not least, yen futures. Bias last week was for the market to sell. It got straight to that level, and and rejected and broke structure and just bought strongly the remainder of the week. Now, what I see this week, I say that the market is buying right now. As you see this trend, look at this trend, we can see uh, we see that the market is buying. That's the obvious direction. But this trend is within this trend. So this is a correction, but again, this trend, but this trend compared to this trend prior to that, this could be a continuation, right? And post correction continuation. I potentially see that, um, but also this is some strong divergence in this trend here, as you can see. It's very strong, and then interest in creating higher highs has strongly decreased. So, what my buy is still remaining as uh, a buy. It is a buy as of now. But I wouldn't oppose that the market actually begin to sell. If it sells, because again, it's yes, it could buy, but with a strong divergence, there's a strong possibility that we can start selling. Um, so be on the lookout for market to potentially sell, right? Like, yeah, essentially what I would need to see for it to sell though is if price created a lower low here, pulled back, and then continue lower again, then we could also switch our buys. But as right now, MACD, MAs, current structure is all saying buy. But I'm not this again, but just based off how I'm analyzing just to keep everything plain and simple, to keep everything symmetrical, or how do I say, yeah, just the same, consistent. It is buying right now, but be also unaware that this could turn around. So that's my outlook for this week, guys. Hopefully everything was made simple and plain. I did take a nap prior to getting up to make this video, so I could be a little bit sluggish and not elaborating or conveying my message properly. But again, just hopefully I got it off correctly. Hopefully I was able to keep it consistent so that way I can follow along with me and how I analyze. And if it wasn't, I'm gonna keep on trying and applying myself so that way it does just become clear and clear with my weekly outlook. But again, just thank y'all for taking the time to watch my video. Y'all have a good week. Stay blessed by the best.